It appears that the Wild West has erupted once again along the U.S. Mexico border, specifically in the Boot Heel out in southwestern New Mexico. Now, so you know, the U.S. Mexico border there is approximately 86 miles. This is Hidalgo County, and it has been over the years quite a mess. In 2010, Rob Krentz was murdered. He had been shot and killed out in the border region. His body was found by the Cochise County Sheriff's Department. So between the ranchers over in Arizona and New Mexico, that resulted in New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson finally calling out the guard. Of course, it was a limited mission. So recently, the local residents met in Animas, New Mexico, and filed their statements and complaints with elected officials and law enforcement, and they're requesting support. What triggered this was the kidnapping of a local ranch hand who had reportedly happened upon a caravan of drug runners from the other side of the border while working on a cattle ranch. In fact, a statement from Tricia Elbrock, co-owner of the company that employs the kidnapped victim, and this was run in the Albuquerque Journal. They kidnapped him, tied him up, threw all our tools out and fittings, and loaded our company vehicle with all the drugs. They waited till dark to leave the ranch. They needed him to help guide them through to the highway. So, this is something that has happened on a number of occasions. They know not to expect any help, especially not from the federal government. It has been reported here by the New American Magazine that the Border Patrol was essentially sabotaged under DHS, and specifically under the auspices of then Chief and eventual acting U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner, David Aguilar, who essentially destroyed the Border Patrol and made them ineffective and essentially surrendered, operationally speaking, the border to the drug cartels and what they call alien smuggling organizations, also known as human traffickers. So this is a story that clearly hasn't changed, that clearly is worsening, yet for all the promises out of Washington, for all the discussion that comes out of the Congress, and of course political candidates, nothing has happened to change any of this in a decade. In my experience as a law enforcement advocate, nothing has changed. Some in law enforcement have come around that were not exactly strong in it before, but are fully speaking out today, and they recognize why, because they have been overrun as civilians. Law enforcement has been overrun, and there's been no help from the federal government. Drug cartels and human traffickers do as they please. U.S. civilians are left to fend for themselves, and their desperate cries for help to our government are ignored. We'll have to see after the November elections what happens depending on who is elected as president.